When using a car, oil will decrease even if there is no engine oil leak. This is because the engine oil enters the combustion chamber where it burns or evaporates and is consumed. This oil consumption is greatly influenced by the operating conditions of the engine. For example, high-speed driving with high rotation and high load, and frequent repetition of acceleration and deceleration will increase oil consumption. Also, using degraded oil or oil containing a large amount of sludge accelerates the wear of various parts of the engine, increasing oil consumption. Therefore, check and change the engine oil regularly. There are 3 routes of oil consumption. 1. Gap between cylinder and piston. Oil is scraped off by the oil ring of the piston, and the remaining oil lubricates the cylinder. Therefore, the remaining oil enters the combustion chamber and is consumed. The greater the clearance between the cylinder and the piston ring, the greater the amount of oil delivered to the combustion chamber. This type of excessive oil consumption from the gap between the cylinder and piston is called oil rise. When the engine is running, the piston rings move up and down in the piston grooves, generating an action that sends oil to the top of the rings. Therefore, if the clearance between the piston groove and the piston groove becomes too large, the pumping action of the ring also increases and oil consumption increases. 2. The gap between the valve guide bushing and the valve stem. Oil leaking from the stem seal is lubricating the valve stem. The oil travels down the valve stem into the combustion chamber where it is consumed. The consumption of oil in the gap between the valve guide push and the valve stem is called oil drop. Since the intake valve is under the negative pressure of the intake manifold, engine oil is easily sucked in, and the exhaust valve is exposed to high-temperature combustion gas, so it tends to evaporate. 3. Blow-by-gas reduction device. Blow-by-gas is gas that leaks from the gap between the cylinder and piston during the compression stroke or combustion stroke. Since this gas contains gasoline, it is introduced into the intake system and burned. Since this blow-by-gas is mixed with engine oil in the form of droplets, the engine oil enters the combustion chamber together with the blow-by-gas and is consumed. Therefore, an oil separator is provided on the cylinder head cover to separate blow-by-gas from engine oil and prevent engine oil from being carried away.